Hi everyone, how are you doing? Happy Saturday. Hope you're having a fantastic day wherever you are. Welcome to Facts and Two Cents. This is Petal. As you know, we are a channel that supports the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, Harry, Meghan, Big Boy Archie, Baby Lily, Mama Doria, Pula Guy, the chickens, the whole Victus community. Us here at Sussex Squad, a wonderful community, crazy madness, but loving, wonderful, generous, amazing community that we have. So welcome, you guys. Hope you are well. Hopefully it's beautiful where you are. I was outside this morning. It was so beautiful, and I'm looking forward to heading back out there in a little bit. So I hope it holds. And I know a few days ago we had it really, really, really bad, and then it was just hot. It was brutal. And now it is actually so nice. Last night I actually needed a blanket. I was like, wait a minute, a couple days ago I was dying of a heat stroke, and today I need a blanket. And so that's the crazy weather in New York. But hey, it's summer, it's what it is, and I love it. But anyways, I am good. Hope you are good as well. I see quite a few more of our friends have joined us. Thank you guys so much. I'm always surprised because I'm always thinking people are busy. So I'm always surprised when I look in the chat to see so many of my friends joining me. So thank you guys. Let's see. I see Joyce and Wendy and Rochelle and Janet, Dory, Sharon, Susie Q. Hey, Susie Q. Maverick, Carolyn, Fancy, Mira, Claudia, Ghislaine, Alma, Marjorie, Brenda, Karen I. Oh, we have a Karen I. We have also a Karen M. I haven't seen yet, but she might be joining us hopefully. Wendy, Hazel, Black Queen, Rochelle, Mary, Mama Jane, Mrs. VSN, CEO9, Emaday, Fancy, Kenitha, Kenitha and Fancy were here first thing. They were here early. And so thank you guys. Let's see. Oh, Joyce is here. Joyce has joined us. Robert. Hey, Robert. Joining us from Rome. He's at the wine bar, which is open. So, yeah, Robert, you can have my Martinelli's, which is, that's always what I want, Martinelli's. Non-alcoholic. So have one of those for me. Elizabeth is here, Patricia, Janet. Welcome, you guys. Hope you are doing great. Hi. I know Wendy is showing me her wine. So, Wendy, are you at a wine bar as well? Robert is always at his wine bar in Rome. Late night in Rome. I'm always amazed that you join us, Robert. But I am so happy that you're here. So, a sip for us, please. But yeah, so not a whole lot is going on in the sense of our faves who are hanging out under their tree, thankfully, minding their own business in Montecito, doing whatever they're doing under their tree. So we are happy about that. I am like, you stay there, just hang out there. And I love the fact that they said that they were not going to offer themselves up as, basically for tabloid fodder, and I'm so happy that they've held to that. They are just having their privacy and their private life, and the tabloids are basically scraping the bottoms right now, trying to find any nonsense about, again, don't be surprised if you hear like a Daily Mail reporter running around Montecito in a lion costume pretending that they're lions. That's about where we are right now with the nonsense about people desperately trying to get Sussex news. So Janet's like, hello from Trinidad. Hello, Janet. Blessings to you too. Love it when my peeps from Trinidad and Tobago join us. So hello, my peeps from the islands. I love it. So thank you, Janet, for joining us. Oh, Mama Jane, Thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate your support so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You guys are so supportive and so generous, and I just appreciate it so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you for the support that you have given, us. So I'm telling you, we can never repay. So we just, say thank you and be grateful. So yes, thank you so much. But anyways, Alma, let's see, what is Alma saying? Perhaps they'll find another mountain lion to write about because they cannot find our Sussexes. But that's what I'm saying, they're, next thing you know, we'll hear like some Daily Mail or some Express reporter running around Montecito in a lion or a bear costume, like pretending to be one, just to get some kind of news about the Sussexes, because boy, they got nothing. So let's just hope it stays that way, and the Sussexes, are able to maintain their privacy and have their private life. And when they, when they want to pull a Beyonce and just drop something on us, hey, I'm right here. I know we are all right here for that. So I am very much waiting for, archetypes and all of that stuff. So so yeah, I am excited for whenever they decide to drop something in us. So that's awesome. Sharon, hello everyone from Toronto, Canada. Hello, Sharon, joining us from Toronto. I am so happy that you're here. Happy that you could join us on this Saturday afternoon. And yes, Trinidad and Tobago locked in and just love your podcast. Oh, thank you so much, Anne. I appreciate your support. Always here, always so supportive. As everyone else here, you guys are awesome. So, anyways, again, our faves are under a tree, so we'll just focus on the others and other things until they, decided to again drop a Beyonce on us. But I just love this. It's like for no reason at all. It's just our two princesses princessing. And it's like Meghan and her mini me, Lilybeth. Oh, Lily. Yeah, we'll stay as Lily. But but it's so funny because a few episodes ago I sort of flippantly talked about, just the nonsense that I had come across on Twitter, with just so many people just having this issue about Meghan being called a princess. And so it was just like, and I remember tweeting about it as I was literally tweeted like just the most ridiculous thing I had seen on Twitter in a long time is grown adults on Twitter, poverty stricken, probably adults on Twitter fighting over whether this multi-millionaire woman is a princess or not. And for me, it was just the silliest thing in the world. And then I just kind of let it go and, whatever. And I would see tweets about different things. But this thing has blown up into this thing. And it's just like, I can't believe this has blown up into this big thing about Meghan being called a princess. And then you throw in Tyler Perry's tweet the other day. That has literally thrown Royalists over the cliff. And I'm like, what on earth? And so I am baffled that one of her titles is princess. Yes, princess. And yet people are just, I don't know, what is this thing about the word princess that has really made people just like, no, she is a duchess, not a princess. I mean, the same people who were claiming she was not a duchess before, now all of a sudden she is now prince, well, we're all calling her Princess Meghan. And so all of a sudden it's like, no. She's not a princess. She is a duchess, not princess. And it's just thing where, and it's beginning to, and not beginning to feel, but it's more and more becoming clear that the idea of a Black woman or a biracial woman being attached to the word princess is really sending people over the edge. And it's like they cannot fathom somebody with Black blood that's a princess of the UK. And it's just like, and so much so that Max Foster, and I'm sure, I don't know, maybe Royal Sussex or the Duchess of Success probably talked about this before. I don't know, but Max Foster decided to do this video thing on on CNN. I happened to run into this thing yesterday, and I was like, "Are you serious?" CNN has nothing better to be reporting on than this nonsense. Max Foster did this whole video thing to let us know that Meghan is not Princess Meghan, but Princess Henry of Wales. And it's so interesting. I ran into the whole thing, and I didn't realize, first of all, Max Foster blocked me, a few months ago when I called him out for his lie. Well, actually, over a year ago, when I called him out for his that lying video he did about the Oprah Winfrey interview, and so he blocked me then. So I didn't know, and then I think somebody may have posted it or something, and then so I saw it. And then it was very interesting watching it and realizing, like, he was very clear to point out that Meghan is not Princess Meghan, but Princess Henry of Wales. But as one squaddy points out, he didn't have time. He refused to have the time to point out that, Kate Middleton is also Princess, William of Wales, and I'm sorry, Duchess Kate is Princess William, and Duchess Camilla is Princess Charles. But no, he had to point out that it's only Meghan is the one that he points out that, oh, no, she's not a Princess Meghan. She's a Princess Henry of Wales. And it's just like, does Max Foster or anyone else who put him up to that nonsense think anyone really care about his opinion? Like, oh no, if we want to call Meghan Princess Meghan, that this ridiculous video is going to change my mind or anybody else's mind. As a matter of fact, it did the absolute opposite. Everyone else is like, well, no, we're going to call her what we want to call her, as in Princess Diana. Princess Diana is like what, Diana, Princess of Wales, or whatever it is her title was. But that didn't stop anybody from calling her Princess Diana. And neither would this stop any of us from calling her Princess Meghan. So it is just, it's just like, I cannot believe CNN had nothing better to do with their day than, and I was just like, and I even tweeted about it, and I was like, no, Max Foster, instead of, doing something valuable with his time, like knitting or something, he is on there in a video telling us how we are supposed to address Meghan. Like, Max Foster is going to influence someone as to how they were, going to address Meghan. I mean, hello, the majority of Meghan's fans are Americans. You really think we care? Like, I have no interest in how the royal family feels or thinks, or who they think, we should address, and how they think we should address whom and how. Now I'm all confusing myself. But the point is, I don't care what they think. So I'm going to address Meghan exactly how I want to. I have no interest in what the royal family thinks I should do. As a matter of fact, if they want me to do something, I will do the exact opposite of that something, and which is what the majority of people are. Now that we see that for some reason this is, got them all up, their knickers in a twist about this nonsense. And it's just like, again, when this whole thing started, I just thought it was just like people just being silly on Twitter. I didn't realize this is going to become this major thing about, Meghan being called a princess. I mean, she is the princess of the UK. She is one of them. And again, if you notice, they are not trying to tell you that Kate Middleton is not Princess Kate. They're not trying to tell you that Camilla is not Princess Camilla. But no, they need to tell you that Meghan is not Princess Meghan, but Princess Henry of Wales. Yeah, like, we're going to call Meghan Princess Henry of Wales. Yeah, sure. Sure. And to tell you how ridiculous this is, one of the squaddies posted this clip. Somebody is named Elise Faye. I have no idea who that is, but she says your clip said all the children and grandchildren of the monarch are born prince or princess, and that simply isn't true. Max is like, it is based on info from people who know about nothing. No, but nothing is written in stone in British constitutional matters, so there's always debate, i.e., none of you know what you're talking about. None of this stuff is fitted, set in stone. The Queen did the letters patent to change the law and give Charlotte and Louis, who weren't really eligible to be prince and princesses right now. They were only eligible when Prince Charles, if and when he becomes king. The only one was eligible right now was George, because he's a direct line for the throne. But the Queen changed things and made Louis and Charlotte princesses right now. And so none of this stuff is set in stone. And the only time they are trying to pull this protocol nonsense is when it has to do with the biracial duchess. Nobody else is subject to these nonsense protocol things. Nobody else is subject to, oh, she must be called this. I mean, apart from those crazy people who, whenever people call her Kate Middleton, they're like, no, her name is Catherine. And it's like, whatever. It's like whenever, you see on Scobie's feed, it's like when he says Duchess Kate, it's like, it's Duchess Cat. It's Catherine, Duchess of whatever. Anyways, but it's just like this whole protocol nonsense only applies to the biracial duchess. And it's just, it's so obvious now. And it's so nonsense. But again, if they think that throwing this fit and all of these sort of explanations and over-explaining this, who's named what and what, it's like, we don't care. I personally don't care. And I'm so sorry. If you are British on here, there is nothing against you. It is nothing, but for me, it's just the ridiculousness of going after Meghan with these nonsense protocols when these nonsense protocols apply to no one else. And so for me, I do not care. I don't care what the royal family want, how they want to name things. I will refer to her how I want to refer to her. That is my thing on that. And so, yeah. Sylvia says, Max Foster needs to worry about Boris and all the crazy sick UK mess. And he's not a journalist, but a gossiper. Why is he in this Princess Meghan business? That was the thing. For me, when I saw it literally, it shouldn't come out of left field, but it was just like, really? I thought this was just, Twitter trolls and stuff on, people just being crazy and ridiculous because it's summer on Twitter. I didn't expect someone to come out and try to explain. Do you think we don't know what these things are? I think we've, been following the royals to know what the titles are. Now we will just call her what we want to call her. That's just the bottom line of that. But yeah, it's unreal. Anne says, get real. It's Princess Meghan. There you go. Who has time to be like Princess Henry of Wales? I doubt Harry would even expect anybody to be. Seriously, he doesn't even call himself Henry. Why would he care? So I don't know. Oh, Connie, that's fine. The replay will always be there. You can watch it on replay. Night. Have a good night's sleep. Let's say. Sonia says, oh yeah, HRH Meghan, Princess of the United Kingdom of Great Britain. HRH Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex. HRH Princess Henry of Wales. From now on, she shall be Queen Meghan. Hey, I'm all about Queen Meghan. So they're lucky that we're not going for Queen right now. If they keep pushing this, it'll then be Queen. Because again, it's the ridiculousness of it. But and again, Meghan and Harry are in Montecito. They're not on social media, so they have no idea this nonsense is going on. So Joy says that family and the media and that island, along with the government, have fumbled the situation on Harry and Meghan so badly that they look completely foolish. I mean, this whole thing, it's nonsense. They do look stupid, And again, it's just like, do you really want? Is this the narrative you want people to like? Oh no, she can't be Princess Meghan. I mean, come on, really? I know. um, Nala Thando says, Sylvia, she's talking to Sylvia, you are making Princess Meghan sink in the haters' heads. Well, I mean, she lives rent free in their heads, so she totally, I mean, I'm telling you, I have never, I mean, and again, I never, before this, I never really paid much attention to fandoms and stuff. So it's just been really interesting to watch how she lives rent free, and people who claim to not like her and people who claim to hate her, but she literally lives rent free in their heads, and it's unreal. And it's like, well, actually, you're a fan. If you're following somebody every move they make like this, you're a fan. So but let's see, scrolling down. Fire 22 Lovey says, how is that only in the UK they're so ridiculous about the titles? In other European countries, they don't act so crazy. And that's the thing. I don't know why titles are so important. I mean, and again, I haven't looked at the history and stuff. I mean, I don't. And the people who are fighting over this stuff are people who will never get a title. They are, the subjects. They're not in this. They're not anywhere close to getting any of this stuff, and yet they will fight over it and who is worthy of it. And I'm like, but you're not going to get any of this. So what does it have to do with you? How does it affect your life if Meghan is a princess or a duchess or whatever? Literally, how does it affect you? Even if it were to be stripped, you're never going to have one of these. So what's the point? So honest, amazing. Hi, Cookies and Cream, our awesome moderator is here. Cookies and Cream said it's killing these races that they have to acknowledge Meghan as princess. They don't see her as their equal. They only see her as being inferior. And that is so true. That is so true. And you can tell that with the royal family as well. It's one of those things when I think that's where a lot of that friction came in with Kensington Palace and their staff. The fact that they have to basically, have a biracial and in their minds a black woman be their boss, that is one of those things that I think rubbed them the wrong way. They just couldn't fathom taking, not orders, but be taking direction from this black woman that she knows her stuff, that she's smarter than them, more educated than them, richer than them, and all of those things. The fact that she came in there and they just couldn't deal with that. I think many in the royal household just could not deal with this at all. Especially the fact that they don't see her as their equal, even though they're the servants, really. They think they're better. And then to have to think of her, I mean, ooh. And so it's unreal. I mean, I think that, and also too, the fairy tales that are in their heads, the royal family is very much that fairy tale that, they don't realize is really a nightmare, but they have this fairy tale in their head of who they think a princess is supposed to be and what a princess is supposed to look like, what race they're supposed to be, what the hair is supposed to be, and what it's not supposed to be. And they just can't handle, someone with black blood being their princess. At first it was, no, she's not a duchess. She doesn't even have a title. Now they're like, well, maybe duchess wasn't so bad after all. Not princess, though. She cannot be named a princess because a princess can't have black blood in her. It's unreal. It is absolutely unreal. Alma Andrews, thank you so much for the super sticker. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much and appreciate your support. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Julia Rock is here. Our other moderator is here. Julia Rock, thank you so much. Julia says, it isn't a title. It is what you do with your life and the power you have to give back and make change. Julia, this is exactly it. But to them, that, you're talking, this is what sane people know, what sane people understand. These people are not sane. They're still in their fairy tale mode where a title is everything. A title is never mind if you have no accomplishments, you have nothing to show for it, you have no, nothing about you that says I can lead, or I can definitely, lead a country, whatever, i.e. Prince William, it doesn't matter any of these things. It doesn't matter the life that you live in and the ability to give back and your heart to give back and make change. It doesn't matter for them because Prince Harry and Meghan are all that. Yet that's not good enough. It's all about William and Kate, and they are so perfect, and it's just like, so it's not about the character. It's all about the title. Because William is going to be the next king, and Kate is going to be the next queen consort, or Charles is going to be the next king, and Camilla is going to be Queen Camilla, and whatever those things. That is what is important. It's not about character. It's not about none of those things. It's about title, and it's unreal. Because if it was about character and it's about giving back and making a change, then their attitudes towards Harry and Meghan would be very different. They would get where they are. They would understand, but that's not what it is. It's about titles. And God forbid you speak the truth about the mess that the royal family is. So, yeah. But anyway, moving on. Oh, wow. Guys, thank you so much. Alan Vernon, thank you so much for your super sticker. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. Thank you. Elaine, Elaine, thank you so much for your super sticker. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And Elaine, I want to bring up the question or the comment that you made a couple of days ago, but I want you to in the chat to let me know if that's okay, because I'd like to address it. And so if it's okay, then let me know. And if it's not, then let me know that too. And but I appreciate so much you speaking out about it. And yes, I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for your super sticker. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Lorna says, us Africans are prince and princesses in our own right. Hello. Yeah. Hello, Lorna. Of course. It's amazing. And actually, I was photographing a music video for an African, a real life African princess. And it was incredible to her telling me about her life story, about what her life is like in her country. And, and it's literally, I felt like I was hearing Meghan speak, about the press and about just the intrusion and about how secluded it is and how much, she wants to be able to be with people, but because of her position, she can't. And so she bailed out of there and she now lives in the US. And it was really incredible talking to her. And that was, I think, the first time I was actually meeting a real life princess, but she is an African princess. And so it was really wonderful to meet her. And yes, we are descendants of kings and queens. So yes, we are prince and princesses. So amazing. But don't tell that to royalists. They're like, what? You have African prince and princess and African queens? It's like they have not heard about these things. So anyways, Julia says, what happens when the first same-sex relationship happens? George or his sibs? Oh my goodness. They're definitely going to go over the cliff then. It just, change is hard. There are some people that are just so stuck in their ways. Change is really hard for them. And so they're gonna, fuss and fight over it until, there's nothing else they can do but accept it. But it's just, yeah, it's unreal. But anyway, moving on from our prince and princess melee. Thank you, Julia Rock. Yeah, this popped up the couple. I think, was it yesterday? My days are rolling into one. Lately it's like, what day is it? But bravo to Scobie. His Finding Freedom book is one of the the best British biographies books of all time. I was like, oh, who knew? So I was just like, oh my goodness, that is such a great honor for him. And of course it's Finding Freedom, and it was number 3 on the list of best British biographies of all time. And I read Finding Freedom. I hadn't read other a whole lot of other British biographies. I read one with the Queen and one about Prince Charles, and they were okay. But and I also read Finding Freedom, the first one. I didn't read the second part of it, but apparently it's one of the best British biography books of all time. It's like, oh, well, great, and it's so funny. I laughed when I saw this because I was like, there are a couple of royal reporters out there who are really throwing things around in their apartment right now because of how much they hate Omid. And all of a sudden, Omid is out here thriving. And apparently he's writing a new book. Guess a different angle of from Finding Freedom and the other one. And so he is writing a new book, doing his thing, has his new column on Yahoo. And it's so funny because we talked about his column a couple of days ago about Prince Harry and his security, and really the title of it is about Prince Harry must be given back his security before it's too late. And no sooner did his column come out, other tabloids and glorified tabloids all came out later on in the day basically saying the same thing. So they're all pretty much copying Omid. This is the same Omid that these same reporters and these same tabloids and glorified tabloids have been attacking because he would not attack the Sussexes. And so they wanted it, or I guess they wanted all their royal reporters to be on the same page of going after the Sussexes, and Omid wouldn't do it. And so they all were attacking him and calling him, that the Sussexes mouthpiece and all of those things that we've all heard before, that he's a friend of the Sussexes and all of that stuff. And in turn got a lot of abuse thrown at his way, and really people coming after him physically. And so he's gotten that, and so they were, and there are literal reporters on Twitter always going after him, like Dan Wooten and Richard Eden especially. And so when I saw this, I started laughing because I'm like, I know there are a couple of them that are out there that must be throwing things around, because there is Omid not falling for their nonsense and not giving in to the hate. And here he is thriving, so I'm very proud of Omid. He has grown from the first time we got, or at least were introduced to Omid, and in the sense of introduced to his work, and where he was very passive at the time. Now he is just calling things as he sees it. And so I am really, I'm like happy for him. It's like, you go. And so good for him. It's like, and again, it shows like you don't have to give in to the hate. You don't have to give in to all of that stuff to thrive. And it's funny because that's happening. And where is it? Omid is thriving, and yet one of the squaddies posted this morning, and I had to laugh because I was just like, Richard Palmer, one of the ones who is a part of the hate cabal of the British press, is like, not royal news, but coverage of royal news may be affected by strikes at the Express. Yes, let it be affected and literally go away. So the strike is going to be at the Express, the Mirror, OK, and many other titles over the coming weeks. Many journalists hope the company will change tack and come up with fair pay offer. The problem comes when you have an employer that isn't prepared to negotiate and says, this is what they have budgeted and we will pay no more, even if it means you're going to be poorer. As with international diplomacy, it doesn't work if only one side wants to negotiate. So expect a lot of these reporters, royal reporters, to be striking. My thing is, as long as they stay away from the Sussexes, I don't care what they do. And for me, this is karma. And, not that, I don't wish, people lose their jobs or anything like that. I mean, it's a horrible situation. I mean, I don't wish that on my, I don't have enemies, but if I did, I wouldn't wish it on them. But when you look at the people who is going through this, I'm like, yeah, as long as you guys, honestly, I want it to be eliminated. Royal reporting from these tabloids have been, they have really cost to the point where they have cost people their lives. These kind of royal and celebrity reporting have been really big, whether it's their life, people's mental health. I mean, they've caused me to be attacked. I mean, and so they have not done any good thing for any person that they have been reporting on. So if all of this goes away, it would be a service to humanity. It would be the best thing that can happen to anyone, is all of these reporters go find jobs elsewhere. That all of these departments in these, press, whether it's royal reporting, celebrity reporting, whatever it is, where they have this kind of feasting on people to the point where they are damaging people, this needs to go away. And so if they never get their jobs back, I'm not going to be upset about it. If they never, ever are able to write these things again, and they have to focus on what literally is important in the UK right now, like their economy, like their poverty, like all of that stuff that's going on right now, let them go focus on those things and leave royal reporting, or especially focus on your British reporting and leave the Sussexes alone. So so it's just interesting to me that Scobie is over there thriving and writing a new book on top of it, and these ones are over here poverty stricken and desperate to keep their jobs. And it's like, karma. And so I am like, look, I am not complaining. So let's see what you guys are saying in the chat. Anyways, moving on. One of the things that, talk about, when they were trying to throw, basically brainwash people into loving and welcoming this Jubilee nonsense, one of the things was like how great it's going to be for the economy. Nobody asked for this. Nobody asked for a Jubilee, but they were like, no, it's going to be great for the economy. Britain is going to have 4 days of celebration. I mean, any person with common sense could look at that and be like, and that's why a lot of us in the squad were like, what is this nonsense? You're spending all of this money in your country. There are people that you can't even support and pay for lunches for your children. People are having, cost of living is going up. People not, they're not making enough money, even when they're working multiple jobs, they can't afford to pay their rent and all of that stuff happening. Yet you feel like if you could spend all these millions on a Jubilee, then it's somehow magically this is going to help your economy. And of course, so a few episodes ago, I was asking about that because I'm like, I realized I hadn't heard about this big boom that was supposed to happen after the Jubilee. And lo and behold, this is what you see. Economy shrinks with Jubilee partly to blame. Of course. And it says, last week, Bank of England predicted that the UK will fall into a recession by the autumn and could have more than a year of subsequent economic contraction. Although there was some growth in April and May and June in service activities such as travel agencies as COVID restrictions were lifted, and ending of the test and trace initiative dealt a blow to the economy. There was a large fall in June, partly caused by significant reduction in services. Spending on coronavirus tests and trace was phased out, and partly because the Platinum Jubilee meant that there were fewer working days that month. And I mean, I think when you look at stuff like this, I mean, the same thing I think of, say with the Commonwealth Games is the same thing. It's like your country is struggling. There are people struggling. They can't afford a lot of people can't afford basic necessities. But then you throw all these millions at a Jubilee, or you throw all these millions, as we look at the last time, you throw these millions, 778 million at the Commonwealth Games that nobody asked for, and somehow you think magically that throwing that money to that is going to somehow revive your economy, and people are magically going to get money to be able to take care of their basic needs. And it's just like, it makes no sense at all. Again, the money that, they threw at the millions they threw. I mean, you think of that 20 million just to make books about the Queen that we've been talking about forever. How far could that money have gone? How many people could have benefited from that, just that 20 million alone? Think of the 778 million they just threw at the Commonwealth Games. How many people could have benefited from that? How many countries could have gotten reparations? Think of how far that money could have gone, And so, you look at this, and again, nobody asked for the Jubilee, but it was just like, no, you're having a Jubilee whether you want it or not, because it's the Queen. Therefore, you're going to have it. You're going to party. And it's going to be great. We're going to our economy is going to magically, it's going to be fantastic. And it's just like, duh. And it's for me, it's just like, I mean, I don't have any, skin in this game. I'm not in the UK, but a lot of our friends are, and you read stuff, and and a lot of the people that's going to suffer because of this are Black and brown people, especially Black people, especially people from the Caribbean, especially people from, Africa. Who are already marginalized, who are already being treated as the bottom of the bottom, are going to suffer the impact. The royal family are going to be fine. They already have their 102 million pounds from the sovereign God. They're going to be fine. Plus all of their other assets that they have all over the world, they're going to be fine. The people that are not going to be fine, especially our people. And that's what bothers me. That's the thing that is just like, it's so wrong and it's so unfair. And but then nobody's saying much of anything. And, and as far as I know, there's no protest over any of it. I mean, people celebrated their Jubilee, and I mean, I don't know how many people were all that excited about the Commonwealth Games. I saw a couple of pictures, but I hadn't paid attention to, the pictures that I saw. It looked like a lot of people were there. So I guess a lot of people in whatever town they had it in enjoyed it. But then, what's next? Again, that 778 million pounds and more probably that they threw at that. How many people could have benefited from that? There's a whole Windrush generation waiting for money that they still haven't gotten, dying and not gotten it. And yet they have that money to throw there. So again, but there are no protests over it. People aren't screaming. People aren't fighting. It's like, why? Why aren't people speaking out more? So I don't know, different culture, I guess. I guess in America, we're just a little more vocal about things. And so, but I hope, I mean, I'm looking and I'm hoping that people do start screaming out about this stuff, because how is it going to change? So, anyways, let me jump into the chat and see what you guys are saying. And if you have any comments or thoughts about any of this, that would be great. Let's see. Mary G. What is Mary G saying? Hi, everyone. The royal family, if you notice, did not show anything about the restaurants and pubs, and did not show anything about the restaurant and pubs, and then had the royals go take photos at the end of the Jubilee, and we'll edit those in. I'm not really sure I understand. So explain a little bit for me, Mary, what you mean. They didn't show anything about the restaurants and pubs. I'm not really understanding what you mean. I know a lot of places were closed so that way people could celebrate the Jubilee, but I'm not sure. So, or are you talking about the Commonwealth Games? So please explain a little bit so that I understand. Let's see. Moving on. Let's see what else you guys are talking about in the chat. Sonia says, does anyone know when Boris Johnson, the British Prime Minister, is supposed... Oh, Boris Johnson. I was just like, Doris Johnson? You got me. Is supposed to leave office. I think he's supposed to leave in September. I don't know exactly what date he's supposed to leave, but I mean, British Squaddies in here, if you can correct me. Elaine said, Elaine says in 3 weeks. So Boris Johnson, again, when I saw it, Sonia was like, you got me confused there for a second. Like, Doris? There was a Doris that was the prime minister. But yes, Boris Johnson is supposed to leave in 3 weeks. And apparently what is her name? Something Truss, Liz Truss or something. They're thinking she would be the next one. Who knows? She seemed to be like the front runner. So yeah. Kenitha says 5th of September he will be leaving. Yes. So I mean, I don't know. British people very excited about it. I mean, what do you get? What sense do you get, Kenitha? Are you guys excited about him leaving? And Liz Truss, I think it's Truss is her last name. Truss, yes. Liz Truss. Thank you so much, Elaine. Liz Truss. Are you guys happy that she's in the lead? Apparently in the lead to take over as prime minister. One of the things that is always for me very alarming is to see somebody like Kemi. I don't know how you say her last name, Bedendock or something, and she is a black, MP. And she is one of those, white supremacist gatekeepers. And it's just like, oh, my Lord. It's just, you don't get a break. You just don't get a break when you come across these black white supremacist gatekeepers. And you're like, oh. I mean, you had, there's still what's her face in our home office. And it never ends. It's just that you just don't get a break. And so, let's see. Leslie Ann Hector. Hi, Leslie. Oh, wow. I haven't seen the last name Hector in a while. In the Caribbean, that's, I think, relatives with that last name. Leslie Ann Hector says, I'm still scratching my head about William and Kate having 4 homes and a helicopter, and no one is saying anything about it to no one. I'm telling you, Leslie Ann, I'm scratching my head about a whole lot of things, including what we're just talking about. The fact that, there is all this money thrown at the Jubilee, all this money thrown at the Commonwealth Games, and people are struggling and nobody's saying a word. And so, with William and his 4 homes, helicopter, and everything else, nobody's saying a word. It's okay. They're white. It is okay. let that be. I mean, the fact is there's a biracial princess and her husband who have one home, and you will not stop hearing about that one. Well, depending on which paper and what day, it's somewhere ranging between 9 and 14 million dollars. You know, you will not stop hearing about how many bathrooms it has. Yet nobody says a word about William's 4 homes and his, well, now 2 helicopters. And, you know, he had that burgundy and blue one. And so nobody says a word. Of course not. You know, again, protocols only apply to the Black Duchess. That's it. Um, um, Sharon says, I'm sorry, I just touched Mara's and she was saying hello to Annie. Sharon says, oh, she's talking to Leslie. I want to know why William and Kate need 4 homes too. How much are they going to pay for this home? Oh, the taxpayers are paying for that. That's they're not paying a thing. They're not paying a thing. So yeah, I mean, and again, nobody says a word. Let's see. Oh, Lydia. Hey, Lydia. She is here hanging with us. Our awesome moderator, Lydia, says, thanks for all who've joined. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. Thumbs up, please. Yes, thank you, Lydia. And Cookies and Cream, our awesome moderators here. Joyce is here as well. Let's see what else is in the chat before we move on. Oh, sorry. This thing is jumping and I'm clicking on the wrong things, or at least the ones that I didn't mean to click on. Wendy says, so William is speaking at the UN, then Boston. The press coverage isn't dead on these engagements. Unlike the Sussex, global interest is on everything Sussex. Well, that's we talked about that a few episodes ago. I mean, that was something that this reporter from the Daily Mail. So that was the one I said, definitely take that with a grain of salt. We don't know if that's actually happening, but will not be surprised. Again, competition. So yeah. Chody Stacey says, there will be 4 books coming ASAP. Katie Nichols for William and Kate, Charles Otto by Mayo. Okay. Levine by and Valentine Lowe, V. Lowe for the courtiers behind the curtain. All Against Harry, upcoming memoir. And the royal reporter nonsense continues. And again, it's so funny because I thought about, we just looked at Richard Palmer talking about the low pay for their job as reporters, and they probably are going to be going on strike because of low pay. And that's the thing. And I think that's one of the reasons you get all these biographies. They all want to write books because I guess the pay at wherever it is they work isn't all that great, so they make their money from these books. That's why a lot of them are so angry that Harry is writing his memoir, because they can't lie about him anymore. And so they're, especially, say, for example, Angela Satan's pawn Levine, because they know with Harry writing his memoir, they can't lie, they can't do and say the things that they would want to say, because he will just, call it a lie. He'll just, expose them. So that's why, you see people like also, what's his name? Robert Jobson, who was highly angry when Harry, when he heard that Harry was doing his own memoir, because this is how they make their money. This is how that's why they're all wanting to write books. Because this is, they can get lies from courtiers or, misrepresent or twist things. And who would know? They just count on royalists believing the nonsense. And so that's how they make money. So that's why right now their job, it seems, is to discredit everything Harry and Meghan says. So that way, when they write their lies in their book, they're royalist people who believe their nonsense will accept their books. And so it's just And for us in the squad, we will just give it no air. We will give it none whatsoever. As we've done with the rest, let's let them go into irrelevance. There you go. For me, I mean, as much as I even say Omid, I mean, I like Omid. I love his work and stuff. But for me, the only books, royal books about Harry and Meghan that I am buying and that I'm going to read are the ones from Harry and Meghan. So when Harry's book comes out, that's what I'm reading. When Meghan decides, if and when she decides to write a book, that's what I'll read. Other than that, nope. Everything else is a no for me. So, um, um, Ray Raquel. Hi, Ray Raquel. Ray Raquel says, what could they possibly say that's truthful in the book? Are they more than 10 pages and the rest is blank? I am not sure I understand, but I part of it I understand what you're saying. It's like, a lot of the stuff is lies. A lot of it is lies, and it's like, they know that people are not going to go fact check them. The only people, I mean, think of the biggest lies and the ones that came out. The only people that really fact check them are squaddies. No one else is. They just buy the lies, and they're used to that. So yeah, um, unreal. Um, let's move on and see what else I have here. This is our little sort of weekend roundup. Welcome. Hi, 379 of our favorite people are here. Our closest, wonderful community hanging out on a Saturday with me. Thank you all so much. Let's see. This article is very funny. The founder, I guess, the founder of Wikipedia had some very choice things to say about the Daily Mail. I mean, if you're a squatter, you know this. This is not surprising in any way, shape, or form. But the founder of Wikipedia has I don't know if you know, but Wikipedia has stopped using the Daily Mail as a credible source. And of course, the Daily Mail are highly annoyed about this. And so this article, someone posted this, and I was like really happy to see it. It says, speaking to CNBC on Friday, Wales, who is the founder of Wikipedia, who has started up a new site called Wiki Tribune to tackle the problem of fake news, took aim at the Mail. I think that they have done brilliantly in this ad-funded world. They've mastered the art of clickbait. They have mastered the art of hyped up headlines. They have also mastered the art of, I'm sad to say, of running stories that are simply not true or blatantly lying, Wales told CNBC on a TV interview. And that is why Wikipedia decided not to accept them as a source anymore. It is very problematic. They get very upset when you say this, but it's just fact. So there you go. In February, Wikipedia, the site which allows community members to contribute entries, banned the Daily Mail from being cited as a source in its pages, deeming the publication to be generally unreliable and fake, I may add. Following Wales' comment, DMG, London Stock Exchange, the owner of the Daily Mail, hit back, claiming that it was, in fact, Wikipedia that struggled with accuracy. DailyMail.com is the very antithesis of clickbait and hype headlines. We just tell stories better than anyone else, i.e., lie. So I am glad people are speaking out against the Daily Mail. And of course, whenever you call them liars, they get very, very defensive. And you notice what they always do. It's like narcissistic people are just like this. The minute you point it out, they will throw it right back at you. It's like, it's not us, it's you. It's you are the liar. You're the one that are not. We just know how to do it better. They always like that. But they, as we know, are liars. I mean, I wish people would stop saying, stuff like, oh, this is simply not true. Oh, it's false. So no, it's lying. It's flat out lying. It's time to call them what they are, liars, and stop coddling and sugarcoating anything that has to do with Daily Mail or the Mail on Sunday. They are liars. And so I'm glad Wikipedia you know, has stopped using them as a source, and which many people need to stop. I mean, people need to stop buying and clicking on the Daily Mail, period. You know, again, it's one of the top paper in the UK for a reason. People love the gossip. They love the lies, you know, and they love the fake news. They love all the gossip and the nastiness they throw at people, because I guess they probably feel like, well, it makes my miserable life not feel so miserable if the Daily Mail is targeting and lying on other people, you know. And so again, with the Daily Mail, it may not be today, may not be tomorrow, but they're eventually going to come at you. You know, they target regular people, regular, normal British people. They will just go target you and destroy your life. So yeah, and they have done it to so many people. So, but anyway, you know, I am glad to see people on a world stage. And again, this is on CNBC talking about the Daily Mail, because more and more people need to do this other than the squad. Not many people call out the Daily Mail. In fact, a lot of people look at them as a credible news source, especially in the UK. They are mainstream press. That's why Americans, you know, people in the US don't understand when you talk about, you know, tabloids. In the US, mentality about tabloids is a whole different thing than it is in the UK. There is a clear line between tabloids and mainstream press in the US. You know, the Enquirer is not mainstream press. You know, Hollywood Life is not mainstream press. The Star magazine, all of these tabloid things in the US is not mainstream press. It's a clear line what tabloid is. In the UK, that does not exist. In the UK, the Express, the Mirror, Daily Mail, the Sun, they are mainstream press, in spite of the fact that most of the things that they print are lies. Most of the things they print are destroying people's lives. And yes, Elaine, they destroyed Carolyn Flack. Yeah, she committed suicide. You know, which is a lot what they are trying to do with Meghan. That's what they do. They monster you in hope that you would do this. And so the fact that a lot of people in the UK are siding with them and attacking the Sussexes tells you the culture of people that they have so brainwashed to believe their side of it, that they will attack the victim and side with the abusers. And that's how they monster people. And so it is. So I'm glad. I am so glad that to see that people, and hopefully more and more people in high positions, more and more companies, more media companies call out the Daily Mail, call them by their name, liars and fake news, and stop using them. I know, I think Google also had, I don't think, like, if you look for articles, that Daily Mail will just pop up on a Google search anymore. I think Google did something calling them the same thing, fake news, and I guess demoted them or whatever, so they don't their stories don't automatically just pop up on a Google search. And of course they did exactly the same thing as they're doing to the Wikipedia guy, that, no, Google, you're wrong. And I know Piers Morgan was all upset because his article wasn't, you know, it wouldn't just pop up on a Google search, because Google pretty much demoted them or something. And I have to go back and see what the whole ruckus was about. But yeah, more and more media companies need to do this for them to stop. So yeah. And so I was just happy to see this. I'm like, kudos. So anyways. Oh yeah. Back to, I guess this was after I kind of jumped ahead. But anyways, let's do a little bit of a change in tone. Well, before we even go to this, let's do because I need to practice this. So I'm gonna practice my little little music, change music before we jump on here. one of our squaddies told me that I needed different music. So I'm going to get different music. But today, this is what I have. Our comment was like, Petal, I think you need harder music or something like that. So I'm going to try and experiment with more. But we are changing tone from all that nonsense. And we are jumping to Sentebale. So we are at 30,000, guys. $30,000 for Sentebale, for the fundraiser that's going on right now for Harry and Meghan's birthdays. You know, Meghan's birthday went by on the 4th, and then Harry's is coming up on September 15th. And so, obviously the funds are going to Sentebale. Last episode I was just all confused and I was calling it CamFed. So I am so sorry. My brain was not there, I guess. But yeah, so incredible support for Sentebale and the work that they are doing there. And Sentebale is so grateful. They Sussex Community Events, I think they're the ones that set up the fundraiser, and so they tweeted about it. It says huge appreciation to the Sussex Squad and all global supporters for donating. At the time when they posted this, it was 27,000 in less than a week. Yes, 27,000 in less than a week that was made. And then Sentebale responded with, thank you all so much for supporting our work with vulnerable children and young people. Your donations make a big difference. So just as CamFed did a few weeks ago, thanking the squad for the support from a couple of years ago, Sentebale is thanking the squad. And this tweet was in response to the Sussex Community Events. 2 days after they posted, the Sussex Community Events posted, Sentebale responded and thanking the squad for supporting them. So it was just great to hear from them. They don't post a lot, so when they post, it's just like, oh wow, thank you. So it was great to hear and to know that they know what's happening. They know that we're supporting them. They know that we're fundraising to help them. And I'm assuming Harry and Meghan know this as well, because again, so it is just for me, I mean, kudos to every one of you who have supported in whatever way that you've supported Sentebale with this fundraiser or any other way. Kudos, a huge applause as usual. The squad is amazing. And just a little bit about Sentebale. I think it was Lorna was mentioning the other day that Lorna, I think it was you, right, that mentioned the other day that we should talk a little bit more about Sentebale, about the organizations that we're supporting. And so I just and again, the link to Sentebale is in the show notes. It's already there. You can read up so much more about it, about the organizations. But I thought we'd just look at a little bit about so Sentebale was founded, obviously, by Prince Harry and the Duke of Sussex and Prince Cecil in 2006 as a response to the needs of children and young people in Lesotho. The name Forget Me Not is the Sesotho language, representing a pledge to remember the most vulnerable children in the region. And if I'm not mistaken, Forget Me Not is also a flower, and I think that at least I understand that's Princess Diana's favorite flower, I guess. She says, we started by helping meet the basic needs of children and young people over time, but over time began to address the root cause of poverty and inequality. There has been a strong focus on HIV/AIDS, especially through psychosocial support, outreach work into communities, and our purpose, build centers where children living with HIV can attend week-long camps and receive in-depth support. As progress has been made in tackling HIV/AIDS epidemic, we are increasingly addressing some of the wider challenges that children and young people have articulated. Although our working method have evolved over the years, our primary focus on children and young people have remained our constant priority. Sentebale continues to reach children and young people in Lesotho and Botswana living with or affected by HIV, especially the most vulnerable who are often challenged by issues of deprivation, exploitation, abuse, or neglect. They may also be disadvantaged or marginalized due to mental health issues, sexual and gender-based violence, alcohol or substance abuse, sexual orientation, stigma, or other challenges that affect their health and well-being. Children and young people are the center of Sentebale's work. We listen to their needs and expectations are always protect their rights. Sentebale empowers young people, ensuring they are safe and confident, able to lead and advocate for themselves and their peers. The work is rooted in values of compassion, respect, sustainability, and accountability. And I just think that is really amazing. Just the goal and the focus of Sentebale. And we know some of the people in Sentebale. Obviously, that's Harry and Princess at the top. They obviously founded Sentebale, and of course Nacho on the right, Harry's brother. I mean, Princess. I love that Prince Harry is with his two brothers. For me, Princess and Nacho is his two brothers, and so Nacho is an ambassador for Sentebale. And also the gentleman, and in the bottom, I will take off that banner. If you haven't subscribed, please do so, but we'll get back to that in a sec. But the gentleman at the bottom is Mark Dyer, and Mark Dyer is many consider to be Harry's second father. And if you guys remember when we talked about Mr. Marfouz and Prince Charles and his mess with Mr. Marfouz and the cash for access and cash for honors mess, when that whole thing, and they were trying to get Harry involved in that whole mess, Mark Dyer, who is also Mark is I think he is on the board of trustees for Sentebale. He stepped in and he was like, when the Marfouz people wanted Harry to go to Saudi Arabia, he stepped in and was like, that's not what we talked about. We did not talk about Harry going to Saudi Arabia. And basically him and Harry basically were like, look, let's go back to what we talked about, about what the goal of Sentebale is. It's not about meeting a prince and having his, picture with him. It's about taking care of the needs of the people of Lesotho and the needs of these young people. That's what it's about. And then eventually they decided that Mahfouz and his people, they're like, nope, we don't want anything to do with you guys because we don't trust your motives for wanting to support it. They did, Mahfouz and his people did give some money, but then they ended Harry and Mark Dyer ended their relationship with them. But Mark Dyer has been the one. He's been the one standing up for Harry, and really, for me, his example is more of a father than Prince Charles ever was. I mean, Prince Charles was the one that suggested that Harry go to Saudi Arabia, and Mark was like, oh no. That is, and Mark is the one that even said that is cash for access. And so that is Mark Dyer. So he is on the board of trustees of Sentebale. So that's a little bit of a side just a little bit of a aside there with Mark Dyer. But these and this is just a little part of the team. They have a big team, local leaders, international leaders. So they have a big team that takes care of Sentebale. But these are the people that, Harry's family, basically. I just wanted to pull those in. Let's see. And this is just some of the things, and these are the core areas that Sentebale is focused on: health and well-being of these youths and children and young people, health and well-being, nurturing the communities, youth advocacy, and education and livelihood. So health and well-being, they says, we deliver information. This is what they're literally doing with that. We deliver information to children and young people so that they can make informed decision regarding their health and well-being. This includes working with our partners to provide sexual and reproductive health and rights education, HIV testing and counseling services, access to HIV medication, HIV referral and retention treatment programs, and basic mental health and well-being support. Also, in nurturing their community, says we work with members of the community, healthcare workers, and young people to create a safe space for open dialogue on issues concerning youth. This includes discussion with caregivers on sexual and reproductive health rights, providing guidance on parent-child communication, and collectively ensuring young people's access stigma-free services. Very, very important. And for youth advocacy, they said we deliver advice, education, and training to empower young people to understand local policy and legal environment through working with our youth advocates, trained professionals, and specialist partners. We encourage young people to advocate for improved health, education, and social protection rights and services, to name a few. And for education and livelihood, it says one of the inventions includes social asset building, where trained mentors meet regularly with groups of adolescent girls to talk about their health, peer pressure, economic hardship, youth employment, and other challenges. Together, they establish evidence-based interventions to ensure that they are supported, empowered, and able to thrive. And with all of that input into the community, into the youths in Botswana and Lesotho who are a part of Sentebale, there are a lot of outcomes, there are a lot of results that have come out of this. So I just literally just pulled out these little ones. I mean, there are quite a few. Again, the link is in the show notes, so please go back and see the good that's coming out of these programs. So some of the good that's coming out says children and young people are able really to access youth-friendly services offered by national and community stakeholders. Other outcomes says more children and young people benefit from improved uptake of health services, treatment and retention health care services. Children and young people's lives are improved through psychosocial support. Young people are successfully motivating peers and others in their community to become advocates for themselves and their communities. And young people are more able to economically support themselves within their communities. So important. They are being able to get jobs and stuff so they can support themselves and their families. So, I mean, these are some of the outcomes. And again, there is a bunch more. You can read it on the site. I just, pulled out those. And we remember this from last year. This is just, how they have been being funded, and in the last couple of years it's been hard because of COVID. And so this was so important when this happened last year, August 19th, to be exact, 2021. It says we hosted Sentebale ISPS Honda Polo Cup in Aspen Valley Polo Club, and of course that's when they raised 3.5 million. Sentebale ISBA Honda Polo Cup raises $3.5 million. There's Nacho and Harry playing there, and we remember that. And part of that is Harry, and I have to go back, but I think part of that was $1.5 million. I think Harry donated as well, and I think that was from the memoir, if I am not mistaken. So if I'm mistaken, please let me know, but I'm going to go back and check. I forgot to check. But I think the 1.5 million came, I guess, was an advance. Was taken from the advance for the memoir. So yeah, and I just, they're doing great work. So when we think about the fact that, we are supporting and giving, this is what you're giving to. That's what they're doing. That's what they're doing to support the men, not even the men and women, but they're kids. I mean, they're teenagers and young people. That's what they're doing in Botswana. That's what they're doing in Lesotho. That's the work that they're doing. So when Harry and Nacho are doing these Sentebale Polo, this is what they're supporting. And for us, this is what the fundraiser is supporting. And so that's why they are so grateful, for the support that we're giving them. Again, it's been tough with 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 COVID and all of that stuff. So I'm sure they are really, really grateful for the work that we are doing. And again, please know that how important that it might seem like, oh, just my little dollar or my little $5, but your little dollar and little $5 goes a whole long way, and again, all of that added up, and now we are over $30,000. And again, the goal was 10. We have tripled that, we have tripled that, at 30,000. So thank you everyone who have donated, and will donate. And even if you can't donate financially, please share the links. There's a link in the show notes. It's already there. Please share it. Please talk about it. Please, however way that you can support, even if you can't do financially, don't worry. I mean, we're all, again, in different places, so it's totally fine. Just there are many different ways to share, to be able to be a part of it. So let me jump in the chat and see what y'all is saying. Cal Alston. Hi, Cal Alston. How are you? Cal says, yeah. Oh, he's talking to Rachel or Ray Raquel. Nacho has done polo events for Sentebale, and he did it. And he did a clone, Ignacio Figueres, a few years ago, and the profits for which went to Sentebale as well. Yeah, here, Nacho and Harry have been doing these long before they moved. They moved to the U.S. They've been doing this stuff for years. With Sentebale, Nacho has been a ambassador for Sentebale for quite a few years, and so they have been doing these polo matches for Sentebale for quite a while now. So yeah, they really do support. I remember right after Archie was born, they did one in Italy as well. So they definitely support. They definitely support Sentebale well. So yep. Let's see. Ramico said, "Oh, that's what Carl was talking about." Julie Rugg, that's awesome. I didn't know Nacho was a part two. Yes, I mean, and that's why, again, talking about these charities and these organizations among ourselves is so that way we all know what the organization is about, who is in the organization, so we know when they're doing things like, now Raquel knows that yes, Nacho is also a part of it. And also Harry, other friend Joss Stone is also an ambassador. Harry's school friend, I forgot what his name is. He was at that polo when baby Archie was tiny, and Meghan was there when they were in the UK. I forgot what his name is, but he is also an ambassador there. So they have quite a few people. George the Poet is also an ambassador for Sentebale. So quite a few people and that are a part of it, and really do a lot to support Sentebale. Arnold says Mark Dyer was in their wedding. Yes, Mark Dyer's son was in their wedding. Oh, okay, I didn't know that. I didn't know a lot of the people that were in the wedding. I wasn't really following really at the time. So yes, and Mark Dyer, I know apparently you all can keep him in your prayers. I know he was having he was in the hospital for a while, so he was having some real health issues. So definitely keep him in your prayers. So yes, and he's Harry's second dad. So really, I'd say he's a dad, because Prince Charles is like, that's a lost cause right there. Sheila, hello, Sheila James. How are you? Sheila says, Mark Dyer may be the only thing Charles ever did for Harry worth a darn. He seems to have been a blessing to Harry. Yeah. He definitely has been a positive influence. And if only what he did when it came to that cash for access, cash for honors thing with Prince Charles, and how he basically stood in that gap, and it was just like, no, we're not going to do that. And you can see, I mean, if only that's the only thing you saw in his relationship with Harry, you saw a father protecting a son and protecting Harry's reputation and protecting his integrity. And so, yeah, it just like when his own blood father was the one trying to get him to do all that mess. So, yeah. Oh, Gail, thank you so much for always supporting. Thank you, thank you, thank you for your support. You are always supporting. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yes, I appreciate it so much. Lydia, oh, Nacho too. Whoa, I had no idea. Oh, I didn't realize. I thought, it's so weird. I always assumed everyone knew that Nacho was a part of Sentebale. I didn't realize that people didn't know that. Yeah, he is an ambassador. So yeah, and if you saw, I mean, there was the picture. I think I had. Hang on, where's the picture? Oh, there's Nacho right there. Nacho. That was them in Lesotho. Yeah, that's Nacho there. He is in Sentebale. Yes. Yeah. Hi Maggie Margaret. Maggie says, I pray karma catches up with British reporters and royal family who treat Meghan horribly. Tyler Perry was right. She has endured things that would have broken a lot of people. Meghan Misunderstood is an eye opener. Oh, I'm assuming you mean the book Meghan Misunderstood. Yeah, I read that a while ago, and it's really good. It's very fair. It's not something that is like falling over themselves with praise or anything like that. It's just a fair and balanced reporting of what the Sean Smith, I think his name is, of his, it's just a fair, balanced reporting from this reporter. And yeah, so, but Tyler Perry is right. Like you said, he's totally correct. I mean, a lot of people would have. I wouldn't want to live through that. That's awful. I don't know anybody who would want to live through what Meghan has lived through. So I just I mean, talk about an example to follow. So yeah. Oh wait, Carol, you just donated again. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, thank you guys. I appreciate the support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, again, there's no way to repay any of this. I can only say thank you. That's from the bottom of my heart. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it. Ray Raquel says, yes, I love Prince Harry has a ride or die in his life. Don't we all need that? We all need that. And it's so good to see. I mean, again, it's like we always say, well, you can't pick your family, but absolutely not true. You can't pick your relatives who you're related to in terms of, who you're born to, but you sure can pick your family. You sure can pick the people and be around the people who love and appreciate you and who, embrace you. You can sure pick those people. So yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Sharon. Much prayers for him. I mean, I'm assuming he's on the mend. It was a few months ago when he was in the hospital. So yeah. Hello, Joyce. Joyce says there are a lot of people in HM circles that know what Meghan has gone through, and that is what scared the palace. That there are people on the outside that know everything. Yep, that is definite, and that is why they're trying and doing everything in their power to discredit what Harry and Meghan says, because they're hoping that when they say things that nobody would believe them. That's why they're going so hard against Harry's memoir, because they know, or they think, nobody knows what Harry's going to be saying in there, but they think he's going to speak. And Harry is a truth teller, and they know that. And so they're trying to discredit in every way, shape, or form anything he says now, so that people wouldn't believe whatever it is he writes. And so it's weird. That is just, I don't know, it's just so weird. People do these things. Amazing. And Fu, all Charlie ever gave Harry was heartache. Father from hell. I'm telling you, I have never met two people who just have the worst fathers in the world. Like, I don't know how it is possible that they just have the worst relatives, the absolute worst. Oh my goodness. Talking about, you don't want to disown your people, but Lord, if they were like, I am disowning you forever, I would be like, yeah, please do it. Because goodness, grievances. Unreal. Oh, Arnold says he was the boy holding George's hand. Oh, okay, I gotta have to go back and look at it because I wasn't paying it that much attention. I saw the little two. I think Belinda. What is Megan's bestie from ages ago? Belinda. I think her name is, or something like that. I knew her two daughters. I saw her two daughters, and then I saw little Jessica's little daughter. I don't remember what her name is. The such a cute little one with just the longest hair. And her, but I didn't know. And then George and Charlotte, but I didn't know who the other people were. And of course, the little girls were two twin brothers, especially the one with the no teeth, and he was grinning behind Meghan when he was walking in the church. That was just the cutest photo. The rest of them, I didn't really know who they were. So I'm gonna go back and look at the little kid who was holding George's hand, and so that way I can know who Mark Dyer's son is. And again, like, I didn't even know he had a son, so thank you. There you go. That's why I love having a knowledgeable community, that you can teach me. Ivy, that's it. Jessica's daughter's Ivy. And then she has the two sons, the twins, the cutest little twin boys. And I don't know what their names are either. I'm sorry. I need to pay more attention to these things. I don't know their names. The two boys, the twin boys. I just remember the cute gap there. He lost his tooth, and so Cookies and Cream says Meghan has done absolutely nothing to warrant the abuse, vitriol she has endured and continue to endure. Karma will be passing out gifts to each and every one of these racist, devilish people. From your lips to the Lord's ears, Cookies and Cream. I am so here for it. In every way, shape, and form, I am so here for karma passing out. Whatever karma wants to pass out on them. So, yes. Oh, thank you, Thierry. Meghan's friend's name is Benita. And that her two little girls were there as well, little bridesmaids. They all look so cute. It's very cute bridesmaids. I mean, whenever I think of the wedding now, it's so sad. Something that it was, at least on the outside from looking at it, it's just, you see all the pictures and the videos and all of that stuff, and it seemed like such a beautiful day and a beautiful experience. But then there's just all this negativity around it that part of me feel like, and I don't know, maybe they will, maybe they're not. I mean, if I was in that situation, I would literally want to get remarried just so that I can have a positive, experience when I think of my wedding. And so when Meghan said that they got married, or at least they did their vow ceremony, which again, British people sort of went over a cliff when she said, like, oh, we got married 3 days earlier, when it's a normal thing. Americans do this all the time. So it's like, for British people, it's like, what? You can't get married. And I understand, like, the legally you have to have, I think, 3 people there and all. So I understand that part of it. But the idea that she can do a vow ceremony and that's what she considered their wedding, it's like people just went over a cliff because of that, And but I'm glad they had that ceremony to hold on to as a positive, because there's so much negativity around this one with the whole, Kate made Meghan cry, Meghan made that whole nonsense of bridesmaids dresses and all of these stuff and throwing tantrum at somebody's wedding, and it just like there's so much, and then the father and or sperm donor, really, Markles and all that mess around it. It's hard to celebrate. I mean, if that was my wedding, it would be hard to celebrate that. And so, in one hand, I'm like, I'm glad that they had, and thank goodness they did that. As Meghan said, it was really a spectacle. And so they had their private ceremony, and that's what they considered their wedding. And I'm so happy, because if not, I'd be like, dude, let's get remarried, because I want to have, when I think of my wedding, I would want to have a positive experience. That's not positive at all in any sense of the word. So yeah. um let's see. Lynn says Harry talks to his son about character. He said in the Invictus Games, I would believe everything Harry wrote in his book. Yeah, he definitely did. And he definitely said that when he talked to Archie about who he wants him to be like, and he talked about the men and women at the Invictus Games, that's the character he'd want, him and Meghan would want for Archie. So yes, he definitely did. And so, and I'm glad that Harry had somebody like Mark Dyer in his life to model positive behavior and positive, and have somebody with good character around him. I am so happy that he had that, because goodness grievances, Lord, Charles, imagine Harry being, I don't even want to think about it. So I'm really happy that he had somebody like Mark Dyer in his life, and still does have someone like Mark Dyer in his life to model positive behavior. Because a lot of times, we think like, oh, like, why is this teenager this way and they're this way, and it's so easy to criticize when people have seemingly bad behavior, but they're not realizing that they may not have had someone to model positive behavior for them, so that they can imitate that, because that's so important. So for me, a lot of times, even, teaching recently with teenagers, sometimes you'd see attitudes and all of those things. And sometimes I have to like, okay, stop, because I don't know if they had someone to model what the correct behavior would be, to correct, how to speak to someone, how to address someone. So I literally would go back and say, okay, here is a way that you can address this situation, as opposed to how you did it before. So in a way of modeling behavior, so that they can like, oh, okay, maybe I try that way the next time, so. Denise says karma is a little bit karma is a little tied up on Trump. It's on his way to the rest of the royals and the Peg Prince. I'd say karma is a little tied up with Trump at the moment. But, karma could do 2 things at one time, or, maybe 3 or 4 things at one time. Yeah, definitely. Every time I think of Trump's little drama that's going on, I think of those, lock her up chants. I was like, I'm telling you, karma does her thing, man. And it's so funny, because all these things always are directed at women. Think of what they did to Hillary. I mean, we would not be in this mess right now, with still dealing with, Trump's mess, if people had not, believed the nonsense about Hillary, and we had her as a president. We would not be in this mess. Everything Hillary had said about this orange person is exactly what happened. She did not lie about anything. She was absolutely spot on. Every single thing this woman said about this person is exactly what happened. And it's like, Lord. Julia Rock said oh yeah, Jessica Maroney. Yes, her twins. What are their names? I forgot what the boys' names. I don't know that I know their names, but yeah, the Mulrooney's. Yes, Jessica and her husband, Mulrooney husband. I don't know. Let's see. Anne says, Hero Harry was given a rare opportunity to choose his dad along with his brothers and sisters, and he chose well. I'd say he did. I really would say he did. He really, really did. So, yeah. Emerald, hi Emerald. Emerald says common law marriage is now recognized in law courts and with no church ceremony. So a commitment ceremony was appropriate. Well, somebody forgot to tell a few British people this, because when Meghan said it, they just went over a cliff. Somebody forgot to tell a few people, because it's like, goodness, you would have thought these people have never heard this before. So I guess that news missed them somehow, Emerald. I guess. And I'm assuming you're talking about British law, not American. I mean, this is normal, vow ceremonies are a normal thing here. But I'm assuming you mean US. I'm sorry, the UK. But it's unreal. And Marcia, hi Marcia, says Harry's grandmother's facial expression at the wedding set the tone for what Meghan is still experiencing. Well, I would believe that, but the Queen, that's her normal face, though. That's her resting face. She has that. I mean, there's a photo of her at, I think it was Eugenie's wedding. It's the same face. It's the same miserable, I am depressed and I need to see a horse, or else I will never be happy again face. She's only happy when she's around horses or dogs. People do not make her happy, it seems. And so she had that same miserable face. So I would have buy this if I hadn't seen that picture. So she just has like a miserable person. I'm like, I don't know. Let's see. Julie Rock says, our awesome moderator Julia says, there has to be a soap opera for the Rhoda to profit off for years. Bravo that they had a private ceremony. I'm telling you, I really am happy that they did that. It was great thinking on their part, because goodness me, I'm telling you, talk about a reason to just remarry, just to get this mess out of, just not think about that mess ever again. I would have definitely, if they didn't have their private ceremony, I'd be like, please get married again, please, just so you can have happy thoughts. And Sheila says it was a private exchange of personal vows with a blessing from the bishop. Not difficult to understand. Legal things made these private vows legal. And I'm telling you, the way you have people, I mean, they were blasting Meghan, calling her a liar because she said they had it's like, because she called it a marriage. And for them, it's a marriage. Like, who are you to tell somebody when they consider, what they consider a marriage? It's unreal. But they felt like they had, they felt like they had, a reason to do it. Karen said the little girls are Meghan's goddaughter from another childhood friend, not Benita. Oh, really? I thought it was Benita. Oh, I'm sorry. I just said, for some reason, I thought that's what I read, that they were Benita's kids. Oh, then I am so sorry. I had the wrong information. I apologize. Thank you, Karen. I thought it was Benita's kids. All the time I thought that. Of course, I didn't go. You see, that's why you research things. You just take things, and that's why you go research. And I just said the wrong thing. So I apologize. This whole time I was thinking they were Benita's kids, because that's what I thought I read. But again, when you don't do research, this is what happens. So thank you, Karen, for correcting me. Didn't know. So I have to go do research to find out whose little girls they were. Oh dear. Let's see. Kenita says when Charles becomes king, any people will stop attending the Church of England because he's not a good example. Well, to tell the truth, the Queen is not a good example either. So, and they're still going. I mean, Charles is what he is, and lying, cheating, pill one. But again, the Queen is no better example. So for me, if you're looking biblically, sin is sin. So there's no degree of sin. It's not like, okay, I murder, so therefore it's a bigger sin than a lie is a little sin. No, that's not how biblically it works. Sin is sin. It's the same. It's the same. Even though the consequences are different, But biblically, when you think in terms of church, sin is sin, and so the queen is no better. So if she's the same horrible example, so if people are going with her, I see no reason why they would stop going if Charles is king. So I mean, then again, Queen Betty don't look like she's going anywhere. It's like, nah, I'm sticking around for a few more years. So yeah. Oh, Kyle says John and Brian. Wait, is that's Jessica's kids? John and Brian are Jessica's boys, the twins. I'm just confirming because since I got the little girls wrong, I don't want to be wrong again and tell people wrong information. So, Karen says the girl's mother was there with the girls when they arrived at the church helping the kids. Oh, Karen, I didn't. Again, I wasn't following at the time, so those are details that I had not seen. I saw the wedding part, in the church part, but the other parts, I started following the Sussexes at the baby shower, so there is a lot of the before stuff that I've missed. So I don't know this part. So thank you for educating me. I don't know that part, the before and with the people. I saw like a little video of Meghan and Mama Doria in the car driving, I guess, to the church. And I saw the little boys in the car, but beyond that, I don't know that I saw anything else before the wedding. And then I obviously saw the inside of the wedding. So yeah. But yeah, I miss I miss a lot of part. I miss a lot of those. So yeah. Let's see. Marcia is talking to Ray Raquel, but I'm jumping into your conversation. So let's read it. It says, so hurtful. She has the power to put out a powerful condemnation, but failed to do so. I thought at the Jubilee she would show up with them, but diplomatically avoided that. I mean, Queen Betty is about, yes, Harry and Meghan love the Queen and they respect her, but Queen Betty is about the Jubilee. I mean, she's about the monarchy. That's her first love. That's her first in every situation when it comes to family members or the monarchy, she will always choose the monarchy. And if something if they feel like it's something that will benefit the monarchy, that they snub the Sussexes, I'm using the royal reporter's word, snub, or she made it look like she doesn't want to, and they feel like it's more beneficial for the monarchy, that it looks like she is don't want to be around the Sussexes, that is what she will do. They will always put them on what they think is best for the monarchy ahead of her relationship with, say Harry and Meghan or whomever. She's all about the monarchy first. So, yeah, it's yeah. It's unreal. I mean, I still don't know why, I still don't understand Harry's, love for her, but he does. I mean, the heart does what it does, you love someone, you love someone. So again, some people don't deserve our love. They really don't. And I would say that was one of them. I would, especially knowing how she stepped in to make sure that Prince Andrew keeps his security. She literally stepped in. And this woman has not stepped in for Harry and Meghan. And, I'm telling you, I just, talk about unworthy, unreal. Cookies and Cream says Meghan's wedding was that was supposed to be a special, memorable day for the Sussexes. The unroyal family tried to spoil it for them. The unroyals tried to turn their happiness into tears, pain, and agony. Yeah, I mean, and they did. They did. I mean, at least before. And it just like, that's why I'm like, if they didn't have that 3 days before, I'm like, I would have been like, please get remarried. And don't do it on the same day. Do it on a day that's completely different. So that way you don't even have to think about that day. It just, ugh. And again, even when you think of that wedding too, because apparently Harry and Meghan, again, apparently they had asked for a smaller wedding, and basically their needs and desires were they overrode it, and that they had to have this big ceremony. But as we know, a lot of that ceremony, if you look at, Meghan's veil had all the Commonwealth stuff on it and all of that stuff, and I'm sure her heart was really, and as we know, they were president and vice president of the Queen's Commonwealth Trust. Her heart was about giving to the Commonwealth, but a lot of that wedding was about Prince Charles becoming the head of the Commonwealth, because it was a couple months earlier that he was voted in as the next head of the Commonwealth, because the Queen strong-armed the leaders to do so. And so a lot around this wedding was a part of making them look good for members of the Caribbean to be able to accept Charles as the next head of the Commonwealth. So it really wasn't about Harry and Meghan at all. This was really about the monarchy looking good to Black people, because here is Harry marrying a biracial woman. So it's like, oh, look, we accept Black people. They're marrying into our family. And of course, we know what happened after that. So yeah, that whole thing wasn't about Harry and Meghan at all. So yeah. Elaine says Elaine, you're so bad. The Queen had a face like a slap ball. She does. She just has that. Yes, exactly. This Raven, except yes, you and I don't use that word, but it's that resting face that people said. She has that miserable face that is just that. She looks like that a lot, and she had the same face at Princess Eugenie's wedding. So yes, I would have bought that she was really upset about Meghan's and at Harry's wedding if I didn't see that picture of her at Princess Eugenie's wedding. Had the same miserable look on her face. So yeah. Black Queen. Hi, Black Queen. Black Queen says, Queen Doria's facial expression showed what was to come for her daughter. She probably had to comfort her after Mean Girl Kate made her cry. Yeah, I'm hoping Mama Doria didn't even know at the time. As a mother, I don't know what it would have felt like, to know that your daughter is going to be living in a place where people are that mean. And I'm hoping that at the time she didn't know. I'm hoping, but I'm sure she probably did. But it's so unfortunate, and I hate that mean girl stuff. So yeah, unreal. Church Nelly is here. Hi, Church Nelly. Yes, 30,000. Over 30,000. I'm telling you, it's awesome. It's unreal. Oh my gosh, you guys, Baron is over 17,000. I'm sure you guys know. I was so happy. I was just like, I saw it and I was like, oh my gosh, the squad podcasts are growing. This is so amazing. I am so happy. I was like, you go, Baron. I saw it and I was just like screaming. It is so good because positive Sussex channels are growing, because we know how many of the negative, nasty ones have hundreds of thousands of views, hundreds of thousands of followers. And so it is so good to see Baron out there leading the way. Duchess of Success is like 10,000. We are a little far behind, but we're growing slowly. We're growing slowly. But I am just so proud and happy. I'm telling you, couldn't happen to a nicer person and a better person. I am so proud of Baron. He is here day in, day out, fighting for the Sussexes, being here. Doesn't matter, holiday, whatever, Baron is here. And so I am just so proud of him and his work ethics. And you guys, like every time I jump on one of his lives, you guys are there supporting. And it's so encouraging to see the support and to see his channel grow. And I'm telling you, I just try to imitate it every way that I can. Just his ethics and his work, especially his work ethics and stuff like that. I'm not there, as you can see. I'm not there where I do podcasts every single day, but I'm going to be imitating Baron. So yeah, but I'm just so stinking proud of him. And so you guys, thank you so much for your support, for supporting positive Sussex channels. I mean, it's what's needed. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So yes, I mean, I was so happy when I saw that. I was like, Sussex channels are growing, yes. So hello, Church Nelly. I'm just happy you're here. um, Terry says Bonita Lit's two little girls, Remy and Rylan. Oh, that's such cool names. I love Remy and Rylan. Are Meghan's godddaughters and bridesmaids at the wedding. Oh, wait. So they were Bonita's two little kids? Okay, so one person said it wasn't, and now Terry is saying they were. Okay, so then I gotta do some research and make sure for myself. So thank you, Terry. So it may or may not be Bonita's kids, the two little girls, Remy and Ryland. Oh wow, I just love those names. I never heard those names before. Remy and Ryland. Ooh, if I have kids, I may have to steal one of those names. I love it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mary, hi, Mary man. Mary says the private vows did not a legal marriage make. Okay, it was the Sussex's private marriage as opposed to a legal marriage. Okay, so that's the difference, because we know, I mean, actually, even on Sussex Royal, they had like the signing and all of that stuff. They have pictures of them signing, I guess, that registry thing when you get married, you sign, I guess, a marriage contract, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I've never been married, so I'm assuming that's what it was. So the legal ceremony, which the priest, whatever, bishop, or what is he, a priest, a bishop, whatever his name was, who married them, he had said that, you know, their legal marriage was, what is it, the 19th, I guess, May 19th. And but he wouldn't talk about what they did the 3 days before. So thank you, Mary, for clarifying that the private marriage that's not the legal ceremony. That's their private vows, and not, yeah. So thank you. And Joyce is saying the little girls are Bonita's daughters. Okay, so we're getting some second confirmation that the little girls are Bonita's daughters. Okay, Remy and Ryland. Oh, I think I'll have those names in my head. Lydia said the bishop could have cleared up the vow issue. I was disappointed in his reply at the time. I guess, you know, it's so funny. I was as well, because he definitely clarified that, you know, obviously, as we know, the legal ceremony was at the church on the Saturday. But I think his thing, and I also had hoped, and I wish he would have said yes or no to it, whatever it is, you know. Some people are like, no, there wasn't. I wish he would have cleared it, but I think that comes into privacy issues. I don't think they're allowed to talk about private things they talk about or do with people when in those, because it's one of those. I think he was like one of their or he was like their counselor, their marriage counselor, and I think those things are private. And so when you know, I think for him as a priest or bishop or whatever his title is, it would have gone into breaking that privacy thing. So I think that's why he didn't. And he even said he cannot go into. I'm not quoting verbatim here, but he said he cannot go into what he does or talk about with people when they're in those private sessions. So I think that's one of the reasons. Even though for me, inquiring minds would have wanted to, you know, for him to say, yes, you know, it happened. So it could have cleared it up and Sussex wouldn't get, you know, being blasted for something that is like, so what? They had a private vow ceremony. You know, I too wish when I heard it was like, oh, dude. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, yeah, it is a private issue. Because when they do have those private counseling sessions, it is private. And to talk about it would be violating that. So and if he did that, other people might not want to trust him with their private stuff if he's going to be talking about something like that. So yeah. Let's see. Compton Caligal. I don't think I've ever seen you in here before, Compton Caligal. So Compton, California. Hello, welcome. I think what Compton is like Serena and and Venus's hometown, and I'm assuming that's where this Compton is from. It says my son's name Remy after the cognac. Oh, you mean cognac, the alcoholic drink? Oh, that's cool. That's very cool. Oh, I never thought of that. Oh, but I love the name Remy. So I guess Remy could go either girl or boy. So that's very cool. I love names like that. And it's so funny. There are some names like Rosie I would have never thought of could be a boy's name. But yes, there was a footballer named Rosie, and I was like, oh, really? That is so cool. So very, very cool. Let's see. Anne says, Baron is always supporting all Sussex squaddies and offering assistance. He is a jolly good fella. He sure is. I mean, Baron helps me all the time. It's just like, sometimes I just like, he just pops me a DM just to help me figure out something. Or if he sees something with the channel that he can like, it's like, oh, this can improve. He will pop me a DM or something. And it just, I appreciate it so much. So yeah, he is an awesome, awesome dude. And I'm like telling you, his success so well deserved. Couldn't happen to a better person. So yeah. Church Nelly says, isn't Remy the name of Beyonce's daughter too? Oh, really? I didn't know. I only know what is the Blue? Oh shoot, I think it's Blue. That's the only one I know. I didn't know the other ones. Oh, there you go. Remy. See, I guess Remy is a lot more popular than I thought. That's awesome. Dana Shekel. Hi, Dana. Dana says Meg's goddaughters were bridesmaid at a wedding. The married vows were H&M's private vow ceremony, distinct from the legal wedding on May 19th. Right, exactly. Yeah, exactly. But I think what probably people are upset is when Meghan, because she called it a marriage, and so many people were like upset that she called their vow ceremony a marriage. But in my mind, I'm like, well, who are you to tell someone when they, what they consider their marriage for themselves? Yes, the legal ceremony, it was the 19th, but if she considered what she did 3 days before their marriage and she said that the vows that they said there were the vows that they have up in their room. Who are you to tell someone that's not what they can consider their marriage? I feel like people feel so entitled to tell people like, no, this is what you have to consider your marriage. I was like, dude, mind your business. You know what I mean? I'm like, who are you to tell somebody what to consider their marriage? Unreal. People just feel so entitled to be all up in people's business. Lydia says, and then his reply should have been no comment, but to be clean or clear and not make them look as they were lying. Yeah, and that's the thing too, because the way how he responded made it look like they were lying. And yeah, and I think that's why it gave more ammunition to people like, oh no, that didn't happen. And it's like, he should have said no comment. He really should have. And I totally agree with you on that, because he just kind of made it worse. He literally made it worse. Even though Harry and Meghan had cleared it up days earlier, what they meant, and they had already said it. And yeah, it's People just go over the cliff. Mary says Bishop had nothing to clear up. Meghan said there were no witnesses, and therefore could not have been a legal wedding in accordance with the law. Yes, and I understand that because they had to have the witnesses for the legal ceremony. But my point about this is people were saying because Meghan said it's her wedding, people were upset about that. And my thing is like, who are you to tell people when they consider what they consider as their wedding or their marriage? Yes, the legal ceremony, which we know happened on the 19th, where that's the legal part of it. But if in my heart I consider my vow ceremony to be the most important for me, then who are you to tell me that's not what it's supposed to be? And so that's my issue with that. So yeah. And to the point where people were doubting that their vow ceremony even I mean, unreal. They're so entitled. It's unreal. Let's see. Let's look at a few more before we head on out of here. Let's pull this down. Remove. There we go. And oh yes, just to bring this up, there are a lot of you who hate my picture. I'm gonna change it, okay? Just because there are people like, Petal, can you change that picture? I like my picture. I don't know why you hate my picture, so I'm going to change the picture. I just gotta figure one. I just don't like taking pictures of myself. And so it's just like, which one should I put there? And then because I don't like any of them. And so I'm like, at least this one I felt like, well, this is me. I'm crazy. So I'm crazy and just, it feels like me a lot of the times and it feels more natural. But a lot of you hate my picture, so I'm gonna change it just because. So there. Leave me alone. I'm gonna do it. So Remy Ma. Oh, there you go. Remy, is she? That's a singer, rapper person. I know the name. I've heard the name before. I just didn't. Yeah. Okay. I wasn't thinking of her, but I love the name. It's so funny. I guess when you hear it under little girl, then I don't know. It hit me a different way. So yeah, oh, cool. Remy Ma. Jodeci says, goodness, it's almost 5 years and the wedding is still regurgitating and mulling and mulling over a wedding Queen Liz Granny approved of and signed off on the royal vellum stationery. It's wild that it's been 5 years. It's like time is just like flying by. I'm telling you, it's seriously flying by. All right, let's look at a couple more. Lynn says, even the priest bishops are muzzled by the monarchy. Yeah, I mean, totally. He is totally under the thumb of the queen. Completely. I mean, so much so that this man, y'all remember just a few months ago when he came out with the Prince Andrew, forgiveness bit to try to help Andrew to come back into life. I mean, that was completely palace, led. And it's just like it was so evident, and he actually had to apologize and sort of change what he said when he got the backlash for it, because that was that definitely came from the palace trying to get Andrew back. Yes, I mean, look, we have to, if you're going according to the Bible, we don't have choices. We don't have a choice whether to forgive people or not. You know what I mean? But there are consequences to behavior, right? And so the way he presented it, it was kind of like, we're doing this so we can sort of ease Andrew back. So let's use the priest or bishop or whatever his title is, to try to get people to accept Andrew to come back into public life. And it's just like, in order for someone to forgive, and we talked about this before, in order for there to be forgiveness, said person have to acknowledge that he did something wrong. And to this day, Prince Andrew has never acknowledged that he did anything wrong. So what forgiveness are you talking about? if the person don't think they did something wrong, then how are you going to be forgiving? What are you forgiving exactly? Prince Andrew never acknowledged that he did anything wrong. And then he blamed the victim. You know what I mean? So it just, again, this is the palace using the priest. And it's so sad that this man who's supposed to be a man of God can't stand up to the nonsense of the palace. It's unreal. Absolutely unreal. Oh, really? Oh, my goodness. Compton Caligan says Serena trains 6 blocks from her home. Wow. Is it like, what is it like there now? Is it like, is there a monument there to her and Venus? Or like, I mean, I don't know. I've never been to Compton. I've been to California a couple of times, but I've never been to Compton. What is it like there? If you can tell me in the chat, but that is so cool. And we all know Serena is on her final matches, final tournaments. I think she's going to be playing, Washington, and she's going to be playing the U.S. Open, which will be her final tournaments. And this is very hard for her. So, yeah, unreal. Absolutely. That Serena is gonna be leaving. She's so raw, and I love her honesty. Like, she's like, this is hard, this is painful, I don't want to have to retire. And I love people who are just real and raw and honest, and they don't feel like they have to be like, oh no, retirement is a beautiful thing. It's like, no. I love her rawness, so good for her. Don Robinson Gales, how are you? Don says, I think Baron has taken over from Tina, who's always helping out other channels. Yes, he has. I mean, Tina is the one that helped me set up this channel. When we started with this channel, we had zero idea about YouTube. I had like literally zero. And Tina, Tina, Pamela, and I, Tina got on Zoom and, for probably 2 hours or probably more, talked us through how to set up this channel, what to do, what not to do, completely. And there are a couple of other times where Tina would just get on Zoom with me, and we just, and I had problems and to try to figure out how to do things. And when I messed things up, like when I messed up our fund, monetizing, one time I completely messed it up and completely took it out and didn't know how to put it back in. It was a mess. And so Tina really helped me a lot. And so Baron does the same thing. That's why I said, like, he would look at my channel and then would like DM me like, okay, and send me links to try to figure out how to do something better. Or if he doesn't see something on the channel, he'd be like, okay, do you know you could do this? This is how you do this. Like, for example, how to get rid of the X-rated people that were popping into our chat. He's the one that helped me to figure out how to set it, to where people are subscribers for, at least a week or so, to see if we can get rid of that. And seemed like we haven't gotten them in the last couple of ones. So seems to have worked. So Baron is amazing. And so I'm telling you, good things happen to good people, and he is good people. So even my mom rather his podcast than mine. So my mom was like, she would probably like bail on mine and be like, okay, I'll probably watch yours on replay. I'm gonna go watch Baron's. So, but I love Baron. But anyway, he is cool people. So, but anyways, let's see the couple last ones before we head on out of here and I go out to catch the last bit of the sun out there. Oh, wait, I don't think I've seen you before. Phil Binjoy? Hello. Where's that name from? Wow, I love it. She says, or he or she says, I don't know if it is, the name isn't it's one of those unisex names, which I love. Says, I think that was just Meghan and Harry's private commitment to each other. So it must have been a blessing that they did before the legal wedding. Yes, and I think that's correct, Phil Benjoy. Thank you so much. And again, I am so happy that they had that moment to be together in that way, so they can look back at their wedding time, in a way that is beautiful, and it was just theirs. And as Meghan even said, that was theirs. The wedding, the big thing, was a spectacle for everyone else, but that little private time, thank the Lord that they have that. So yeah. Oh, H9, thank you. It's like, no, Petal was talking about Blue Ivy. Oh, did I say the wrong name? I'm telling you, I need to be up on these names. I'm sorry. That's Beyonce's oldest daughter. What did I call her? I thought I called her Blue. Okay, maybe I was wrong. I don't know. I don't remember. So yeah. Let's see. Lorna, hi Lorna. Lorna says Baron, thumbs up for Baron. He is cool. He sure is. He sure is. And thank you, Lorna. I think you were the one that encouraged me to talk about Sentebale. And thank you for that. Let's see, one more before we head on out. Let's see. We talked about this a little bit before. Reba says, hello, Petal and Sussex Squad. It appears many tabloids are not giving raises. Richard Palmer is crying his gravy train. M&H are gone, and many of them are crying. And you know what? I love that for them. Let them keep crying. Karma. I'm telling you, karma could handle Trump, and karma could be across the pond too. So there you go. Okay, Anne, I'm gonna change it. Thank you. She's like, yep, Petal, change a picture. Enough of you have been critical of my picture, so I will change it. Thank you. Thank you, Inga Ramona. Thank you. She says, I love the picture. It's charming, fun, and unique, which is what I thought too, because I thought I don't know about charming, but fun and unique, maybe, yes. But I will take charming, so thank you. But a lot of people don't like the picture. So just for you, I aim to please, at least in the picture department. I will change the picture, but I just got to figure out which one. So I don't have a whole lot of picture of myself, so I'm just gonna have to find one. So yeah. Janet Williams says, hello from Canada, but I'm from Tobago. You're from my country, yes. You're from Tobago. My sister told me you were from Tobago. Probably we're family, because they said everybody from Tobago is family. I am 100% that we're family somewhere. And your sister is right. Everybody in Tobago is family. And a lot of people in my family, I have no idea how we're family. Nobody can explain to me how we're family. But my grandmother always says, that's your family, so therefore that's my family. That's how we lived in Tobago. It's like everybody is your uncle and your aunt and, your first cousin and something. But nobody can really explain exactly how that happened. And really put which family is which. And yeah, but you're related. So there you go, cousin Janet. We're family. And how we are raised literally, you really are the community raised you in, at least when I was growing up. I don't know what it's like now, cultures, different generations do different things, but how we were raised is the community of family really raised us. So I couldn't, misbehave outside of the house because somebody's family member would take liberties with me. So, but yes, it's great to have someone from Tobago. That's awesome. So we have some Trinis and Tobagos here. Welcome, my sister. So there you go. But anyway, guys, I am going to jet on out of here. Let's get some inner space music going. thank you guys so much for joining me. Thank you so much to our awesome moderators, Lydia, Church Nelly, Cookies and Cream. Did I say Karen M today? Huh. I don't know if I saw Karen M was here. But anyway, guys, thank you guys so much for just all the ways that you have really taken care of the chat, taking care of all of us, making sure that we are in a safe space as usual, which is very important for me. Whenever I'm doing anything, I want to make sure that place is safe. And thank you so much for all of you who have donated, gotten super stickers, just hung out and chatted with me for the last 2 hours and something. Thank you for that. Again, kudos to Baron and all of the wonderful Duchess of Success and all the other wonderful podcasts, Sussex Positive podcasts that we all need, and to challenge and to ward off the horrible negative press that's out there. So I am so grateful to be part of this community. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me again, and I will see you. Oh, by the way, if you haven't, please subscribe. Let me put my banner up. If you subscribe, click the notification bell so that you know when we drop a video. Please like and share this video. Please, please, please. You can join us. You can join the 2 Cents crew and be a part of supporting the channel monthly. We really appreciate it. So thank you. I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Bye.